for which one should be able to, as I just put very well, have dialogues with them, and for dialogues, as I say, listening is the essential requirement. There are many conflicts in the world today on account of religious differences, differences amongst religions, differences within religions. The entire Middle East is torn apart by conflicts within Islam, Sunnis and Shias and Salafis and others. There have been, of course, historically previously conflicts between Christians and Christians, less so perhaps today. There are in our country conflicts arising out of people having different religions. Conflicts between people who are of races. In the United States coming up again, the blacks and the whites and the Hispanics and the others. And in our country too, caste has always been oppression, where people did not have ears to hear what you would consider lower castes crying. And those differences, historically, people happen to have been born generation after generation into civility and inferiority. One A side, and always want to be on the winning side. And therefore, we forget those who were lost, not because of any fault of theirs, perhaps because of our ancestors' faults, our faults. And do we have the ears to listen to them and the heart to feel with them and for them? In a world in which weapons that can destroy the world are aplenty today, as I said, explosive weapons, chemical weapons, aplenty. And these weapons, because the world is more open, are in the hands, they are in the hands of people who produce them anytime, if they feel pushed too far into a corner. Not just countries, but individuals. And individuals indeed are using weapons to situations. Guns in the hands of people in the United States, killing other in the United States. And of course, we talk of people crossing boundaries with weapons and killing people across those boundaries too. We have different histories. We have grown up in different histories. We have different cultural histories. We see the world because of our histories in our particular ways. That's who we are. That's what makes us different, and I would say special. And each of us is special. The way we are, different to others. We also have been brought up to see different aspects of the world by our education. So on one hand, yes, our cultural histories give us different perspectives, different things that we value. And the education that's provided to us makes us see different parts of reality. See the physical parts of reality very, very accurate. Sociologists see societies more accurately of what's going on in fact societies. And in the world, and there are physical things happening, both are part of reality. It's not that the sociologist knows the complete truth, nor that the scientist knows the complete truth. the physical scientists. And among scientists also, there are physicists who look at matter and energy, and then there are biologists who look at other flows. And for them, that is the essence of reality, perhaps not for a physicist. Both are essential parts of reality. But physicists don't understand the language of biology, and biologists and physicists talk to each other, they can't listen to each other. And so, economists can't understand anthropologists, and anthropologists don't quite understand the jargon of economists, but they're both talking about the same reality. And they're thrown with that, physicists and others. Epistemology is the understanding, the discipline or the science of understanding about how we know the truth. How we know the truth. Science is one way of knowing the truth. And religion, which I was reminded of this morning, is also the truth. But scientists say religion is bad. I don't know whether people really say science is bad. Yes, I do know that in the United States, fundamental Christians would say science is bad, and some people in Hinduism also would say modern science is very bad. But both are apprehending the truth. There are different parts to the truth, or different aspects of the truth. So we have people, all of us are people, who have been brought up to see the world through different lenses. Either it's a lens brought up through our history, our culture, the lens that we wear, or through our education, a particular lens that we wear to see the world. And we talk different languages. We have different values. We find it difficult to understand each other on account of these differences of our cultures and our educations, our epistemic are different. There is a board up there. Whoever comes are the right people. Yeah? Big one. Whoever comes are the right people. If the migrants are coming into Europe, they are the right people. If the Hispanic Mexicans are coming across the border of the USA to earn a living, they are the right people. If the Bangladeshi refugees have crossed into our border, right people. If the poor peasants out of Tamil Nadu, UP, have come to Bombay trying to make a better life for themselves, they are the right people. Out here in Chhatarpur, we have people from Bengal and perhaps Bangladesh. Right here, they are the right people. Whoever's here are the right people. Please, the implication of that statement, if we take our own slogan seriously, is whoever is here is right. Is as right as I am right. But do we see others around us in that way? The Muslims who are in this country are the right people. The Dalits in this country are the right people. They are here. India is, because of its diversity, we have the world's largest numbers of religions in our country, the world's largest numbers of languages spoken in any one country is in our country, the largest number of different races, Mongoloid, Aryan, Dravidian, and even Negroid, are in our country. The diversity of India makes India this incredible country. Diversity, because the combination of differences enables something new to happen and leads to innovation. Diversity is beauty. The opposite of diversity is homogeneity, standardization. It's easy to manage, but it's boring. It also produces sterility. There's nothing new that can come out of everything which is the same. So here we are. There's a growing intolerance of differences. It's got to be my way, not your way. And so with that, we are forcing homogenization, my way, onto everyone. Where will we go with this? Quite apart from the conflicts on the way which are happening, even if one side wins all those conflicts, very poor, dead world. That's the way to certain death, is to try to overpower those who are different to yourself. There are metaphors used for countries in which there's a lot of diversity, like the USA used to be called the melting pot. And people came, migrants from different countries, and they all began to dress the same, speak the same, eat the same, think the same. It was a melting pot in which there was homogenization. Then they said in the US, no, yeah, and this is Bob Dylan's time, that let's respect differences. Yeah. Let's allow people to wear flowers in their hair and not wear suits to go to work, and they can wear chappals and sandals, born in India and go around and to do that. And so they started talking of themselves as a salad bowl, in which the pieces of the salad are different lettuces and apples, maybe cucumbers and tomatoes. They're not homogenized. They each are separate. They touch each other. They're not kept in cellophane wrappers apart from each other. They do touch each other. I'm sure the flavors go into each other, but you can taste them all separately also if you pick them out from the salad, unlike a soup in which everything has been homogenized. So what type of country do we want to be in here? I can describe something even better than a salad bowl, perhaps, in which we will be different, each of us special and unique with our own flavors. And in India, you can get so many flavors, which makes India the richest, most beautiful dish in the world, and not a bland potato soup in which the potatoes have just been mashed in and some salt thrown in on the top. So, friends, how on earth can we be different and live harmoniously with others who are different? And we will respect them for being different. We'll give them the dignity with their difference and not make them feel that we are taking away their dignity. We in our minds take away their dignity because we see them as different. Let's talk again about the tribals who we consider backward, or the Dalits who we consider inferior for some reason, or other religions. We have to understand each other across our differences. And to understand each other, we have to listen to each other. Anil was with me, my friend, when we grew up, and a bit older than him, so he keeps, this is a very good Indian tradition of someone who's maybe 7, 8, I don't know, maybe 10 years older than him, always being, as it were, but we are friends. We were together in Dhaka Motors, yes, and that was a very creative time, a time of young people and older people bursting to do something which this country had never done before, which was to create a whole manufacturing plant in a developing country, not emerging plant, built by people of that country. And we were compelled to also make the equipment required to produce the automobile parts in our country because of shortages of foreign exchange in the country in the 70s. And young people trying to learn how to make a high-pressure molding machine for a foundry in the whole world. And we were going to do old things. We had to do the modern things so that we would thereafter be in step with the others. And young people just come straight out of an IIT, metallurgical engineers, some mechanical engineers. But they need some guidance. So we had senior people in their 50s who had worked under the Germans in Jamshedpur to produce the parts, not the machines, but they were familiar at least with what the thing was about. And these older people were naturally under great pressure. They had to produce the results. With these young people, nothing, but were very keen and really devoted to do something for making themselves a better learners and achievers, and the country better off to do that. But things don't go right always, you see. You're wrong when you're doing something new for the first time to do that. So the tension amongst the managers was so high that an extreme instance, the divisional manager of the foundry threatened the general manager who came visiting that he would, in the presence of him, come to his office and shoot him. This is said. But what the general manager had said to this divisional manager, the language he had used, it was much worse than the language Trump uses by a bomb shop. In the presence of the workers, everybody in the workers knew that this divisional manager was entitled to be so provoked. That both were doing things which you didn't expect your betters to do. It's like seeing the presidential disputes in the and young people saying, I don't want my children to see this. So there were these workers also saying, my goodness, these are our leaders. But look, complete tension, and you could see that these two men certainly. And there was a lot of other such tensions in the organization. So here I am, and Anil also, and others who you've heard about, our friends Mahesh and others, on the so-called human resources side, and say, to manage this and to make people respect each other. They're all together in the same team. Ultimately, they all will achieve if they work together. So learn to respect each other. How can we get this? So I had the Maxwell of Urban, the German organization, which teaches German and things across India, that there was a visiting Jesuit priest, a teacher of non-directive counseling, Carl Rogers School of Therapy, non-directive counseling, Father Joe Curry. And so we said, okay, if you try anything, please let's have Father Joe Curry talk to the top management of Tata. We just get the 25 senior people together and get this Jesuit priest to tell us, be calm, respect each other, because he's a counselor, he's a non-directive. And I remember that time, sitting there, where Joe Curry, he was not dressed in his habit because he was not doing some professional work, collar and his trousers. And if, like you do open circle, and you are at least trained, so your open circle is nice things being said. But if people are in an open circle and invited, say what's on your mind in that situation, you can imagine in the first 5 minutes, he's saying, don't be polite. If you were to be polite, you didn't need me here. I want to get to what's really on your mind. Here you can say safely, I'm a therapist, and that's the point is collected. So it came out in 2 or 3 minutes that the division manager of the foundry was highly disturbed. And Father Joe Curry, all in a circle you're sitting around, he goes up closer and closer to this gentleman. And this gentleman who was saying things that he had probably not even said to his wife. He felt and why he felt like that. All within the space of 2 minutes or 3 minutes. And at the end of the 3 minutes, Joe Curry and this man were close. He was one was sitting, one was standing and leaning over him, looking each other in the eye, and this man continued to talk. And the rest of us were listening to something we should have heard about this man. That was we worked together, talked together, 12 hours together, never heard him. Was Joe Curry a stranger? Hearing him. Then this man became silent, the division manager. And Joe Curry gently walked back and looked around at the rest of us. You can see all of us. What had happened? And then he turned to someone else and asked, and so, what's on your mind? Of course, then was, I never knew him. So he started from there. And why not? And what is it that to yourself and with others that you don't know someone else? And apparently that man interrupted. He said, I never knew this about myself. And you don't even know yourself. You're not listening. And not even listening to yourself. You're busy with something, but you're not listening. Joe Perry came home. I asked him home. We used to have Thursdays also, to come and have lunch. And we had a manservant who was a Catholic. Impressed that he was going to come to the house. So we encouraged him to say hello and greet the Papa Joe Curry, the name of the cook. And within, again, 2 minutes, there's something that happened between the two of them. I didn't say anything I could see, but Augustine was, with some reverence, saying things which we lived with this man, Augustine. He had never, said that to us. And the most beautiful part was where I sat down on a chair and our big dog, Labrador dog, Cindy, she was looking him in the eye and sitting next to him, and he was talking to her. I said, there's something this man does, that he looks inside the soul, through the eyes and into the soul. And you know it and you feel good about it. To listen deeply to another, to incite another. That's what I learned from Joe Perry. This is a lost art. And certainly it's a lost art in public discourse. Arnab Goswami, how many watch Arnab Goswami? At least once you watch Arnab Goswami.
You watch him. You can only watch him, you can't hear him.
You can't hear him, you can't hear anybody else. And certainly nobody's hearing anybody on that program. Is anyone hearing anybody else? No. Simultaneously. He's also talking over them simultaneously. There's no listening in that program. If you want an exhibition of no listening, non-listening, watch Arnab Goswami's program. But it's extreme. But most of our public discourse brought up in schools to be able to win a debate, to make a point correctly for it to land, bring the right facts, make your point. Also be taught to win this battle, to make the trying to say something to say. Social media, you mentioned it, is because of the nature of social media. Why? Because social media, as you said, there you are. He's also seeing things on social media right now. See, so you get things which are available to you all the time. That is accessible to you. So much that's available to you. You can't pay attention to everything. You have strategies. One is a strategy to listen shallowly to many things. Bit of this and so. So as they say, people who get used to social media's attention spans are about 1/3 what the attention spans of young people were 10 measurement. So if you are so much on social media, you are less capable of concentrating than young people were 10 years ago. And young people 10 years ago, it was slower then because there was no social media, were less capable of concentrating than people who read good books 30, 40 years before. Want to listen to something deeply, understand something deeply, you can't just skim on the surface and a bit of this 144 character tweet. What can it convey? What are you listening to in the 144 character tweet? Someone trying to express themselves in a way to be noticed. So that is one problem with the social media. The second is because there is so much out there and we can't pay attention to everyone and everything. the people we will follow, the people we like, the websites that we will check into. And so we get locked into people who are like us, who think like us. And so social media is making the divides between people who are different and who think differently even more, even more. At a time in the world when we need those divides to be breached. There is no listening on social media, there's a lot of talking, tweeting, telling. But that's the nature of the media. The difference between a dialogue and a debate, I'm already alluding to it. A debate is designed for two people to debate each other, one to win and the other to lose. And we set them up, we ask, so who won the debate? It's not about, did they understand each other, did we understand something? That's not the objective, but who won the debate? Whereas in a dialogue, I wish to understand you. And I hope that you will understand me. And there are many of us, we all understand each other. And because we are different, by seeing the same reality and seeing each other through different lenses, we will understand the whole reality much better than any one of us can alone. So listening is my subject, and there are levels of listening. The first level of listening, the other person is giving you pay attention and take notes and keep it there. But that's superficial listening. But you need that. That's the stimuli that's being given to you. Saying something, please pay attention to what. But the deeper question, interesting question I find is, the person is saying, I begin to listen to myself, is saying something strange, I don't agree. Then I want to ask, and I begin to gently ask, like Joe Curry was doing, do you think this? How did you come to these conclusions? So understanding that person's lens, that person's perspective, that person's history, that made that person, and these are facts and arguments that I would have used in that discussion. So I am not now to build up my counter argument and listening to the facts to go a level deeper. Is this intelligent? It's a person, it's a human being like I am. Why is this human being? Which I did not come to. So I'm curious now about this human being. And by inquiring into the why, the educational history of the person, the cultural history of the person, what made the person come there, I'm going to go a level deeper, the level to which Joker even so easily is who is this person? The person is not Muslim. That is the level, second level I need to know, because that enables me to understand this person's history. But there's a human being under that too. And that level of who this human being is, at which stage I shed off all label information was just an instrument I used to understand the person. I can throw away what the content of the discussion was. I'm now understanding a human being, a beautiful human being, as you said, is one of God's most beautiful creations, perfect at the moment creations. And so I'm seeing divinity in its beauty, the human being there. Not the labels that we have put on as mankind on them, not these, I'm going to use the word damn facts, which may not be right also, to anybody's perspective. They're just information that we have to do that. So listening at three levels and practice the art of doing that. And to do that, you've got to discipline yourself. You've got to stop your own mind working. Listen to your own mind. Your mind is going to start jumping and saying, I don't agree with this. Just hear that thought. Oh, I don't agree with it. You're asking the person, how did you come to this very interesting conclusion, which is, I'm quite impressed with it. Please explain. And as the person starts to explain, I begin to say, because the person is not well educated, you see, that's why I'm listening to myself. I've already got a stereotype. I'm already putting down this person in my mind. I hear myself. I hear how I am from understanding another and listening to myself. The human body is a beautiful organism. Things function in the human body, interact with each other. The many parts of the body, the cardiovascular system, the muscular system, the digestive system. And what yoga says is the breath tones up, cleans up your whole system. So just pay attention to your breathing. Improve your breathing, then all the other systems get a tonic. And I say that good listening is for what good breathing is for bodies. It's a tonic for it's a tonic for an organic system and deep of the social system. And also tonic. So between human being and all animals breathe, and so do we. But human beings have the capacity, the sound in the forest that you run away from danger, but you listen. So to cultivate yourself in this perfect instrument that God created, the art and skill of listening is different to yourself. The journey must be your own development. And with that, we can all together make the world a better place. And then answer that question I started with. How on earth can we live together harmoniously? By listening to each other deeply.
To the question of the session, we would like Anil sir to present a moment of appreciation to Anil sir.
Thank you, Anil sir, and thank you, Arun sir, for addressing our distinguished audience and for sharing your thoughts with us. It was very inspiring, wasn't it, Karan?
Absolutely. I was already very excited for the ILC and now I'm even more pumped up. To our distinguished audience, I would like to tell you something about Anil sir. Part of the data administrative services for 25 years, and he has played a key role in the growth and development of the whole group. He's also worked extensively as a corporate consultant and abroad, and is the former Indian chairman of the Boston Consulting Group.
He became the member of the Planning Commission in 2009, where he was part of shaping policies and programs related to industrialization and urbanization in the country. He also worked on recommendations to reform the Planning Commission during his tenure. He has authored several books, including Redesigning the Aeroplane Pipeline, Reforming Institutions and Upstart in Government, Journey of Change and Learning. Thank you, sir, for sharing your beautiful insights with us.
So, let's open the floor for question answers now.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Before we start question and answer, I'm going to question. Who's the youngest person in this room? Who's below 20 years old? How many? How many are below 15 years old? No. Below 17? 8? All below 17. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many people in this room are, let's say, the older side? How many people in this room are over 65? Yeah, I think the two of us, the oldest person in the room. How many people here in this room have got grandparents or grandparents who's living? Lots of them. How many have grandchildren? So you have 3 and we are going all the way from 70, rich crowd. So questions from your side now.
Good morning, sir. My name is Prashant Sharma. I'm in the Business Leadership Program. So my question to you would be based on some of the things that I took from your entire opinion that you shared with us, culture, history, and listening. Now, it might be very convenient for me to think that moving forward, we can handle differences and be tolerant of everything that is there in our society right now. But for example, if I'm sitting with my 70-year-old grandmother and I'm trying to have a conversation with her about how it is okay for there to be intercaste marriage, or it is okay for there to be inter-religion marriage. How do I, now this might be the case with anyone's family. I'm being very honest with you that my grandmother, because of how she was raised and her and the environment there, she's not most tolerant of whatever's happening right now. That Pakistani artists should be thrown back to Pakistan. So, should I just be a keen observer and listen to all of this? Or should I try to make an impact into the psyche of someone who's not necessarily from this generation?
I mentioned to you about Joe Curry's non-directive counseling. And what I learned from that, from that is that the power that you have to change a situation comes much more from your listening to the situation than from your trying to forcefully change the situation. And it's not just the power that comes in you, but the situation changes when there is some listening happening there. And that's what I illustrated there. And so I have found that after applying this, that if someone is being aggressive, opinion, for whatever reason they hold the opinion, and I am not arguing, I'm listening and trying to understand, the chance that that person will stop speaking, the chance that that person might start listening to my opinion is much higher, So I know you're biting your tongue, as I said, keep listening to yourself. You're saying this old woman, she's brought up like that, yes, I can understand. But it's not right and so on. Just listen to your own thoughts. And don't say anything at the end. She may ask you, Acha beta, tere dimag mein kya hai? And now that you understand where she's coming from, you may just say, Nani ji or Nani ji, मैंने अब कुछ समझा है जो मैंने पहले नहीं समझा था. ठीक है, but tell me, you're an intelligent guy, you're a nice guy, and willing to listen to you in turn. Otherwise, I'm trying to say you're wrong, you're like this, you've got these strange ideas to do this. So you can change, as I said. It's like breathing. Listening is like that. It changes many things. I'm going to use word like it's magical, I find. The quality of the relationship changes so much when one person. Yes. He didn't want the mic to hand it to him. It's like passing the question, now you're going to do something with it. Give it to someone else and you won't have to. There's a question here.
Our name is Bridge, and my question is, in organizational corporate life, whether we like it or not, we see prevalence of a lot of stereotypes. Stereotypes about region you come from, or stereotypes about gender, etc., etc. What has been your experience of facilitating, acceptance of differences in organizational and work contexts?
Yeah, we should have stereotypes, I'm saying. Okay. We should have putting people into boxes and saying why. And this to do with the mind and the way it works. And these are studies done about brains think. That, as you said, there's masses and masses of information. It's very difficult for us to make sense. So we use and categorize things. So we say, oh, it's about that. That's how we then make decisions. This is about that. This is inside the mind. It is like that. So this is the phenomenon that we take on then into designing organizations. That to be able to understand things in the organization, what is what. We create, as you say, departments, and this department is to do this. Therefore, you learn the discipline of doing just that. Finance. Someone is in production, and of course, finance and production, thereafter stereotype each other. Finance वाले कुछ समझते नहीं है, production वाले समझते हैं कि पैसा लड़कों पे है. We get the stereotypes in corporations also. But we create of efficiency, managing information and managing work, and to do that. So nothing bad about it. Again, once again, I'm saying, stereotype may be a bad word, but nothing bad about categorizing. You have to categorize for the sake of being able to manage information and your own thinking. But the deeper level is always being mindful that I am categorizing and not to get stuck in the categories. Vinay is talking about you're looking very hard at what are the essential qualities of leadership. We have to get young people to become leaders because they're able to do things never done by anybody. And leaders do things which they've never done before, perhaps no one around them has done before, so thus they appear as leaders. We found two qualities which are the most leaders which make great leaders who can make change happen. The first of those qualities is, as I say, a self-starting ability. The leader is not waiting to be told, do this. The leader says this needs to be done, I feel. The person says, I feel that this needs to be done, I'm going to do something about it. And thus appears as the leader, the first person to try and do something about it. The second quality is what we call the helicopter one, which is the ability to see from a high helicopter mind could see themselves and that sort of character. Here's what I'm doing. I'm imagining, therefore, the effect I'm having on others, and therefore why others are reacting on me. So I'm seeing the system and seeing myself as a part of the system. To do that, as I say, I'm going to be allowing for myself. I'm also in a box, rightfully, but I'm able to understand that the categories are not a complete reality. It's a picture that we put up to be able to manage the show. So the thought is, when you're talking about somebody, I said go below the second level, which is I'm categorizing, now I understand, well, who's the person who needs the category. And in the corporate world too, similarly, and we taught this and had to do this in all our work, in following Curry's work, that the finance people needed to listen to the production people as also people trying to do something for the sake of the whole, and vice versa. I'm not, pejoratively saying how they know all these things, people think money grows on trees, which is an expression they keep using and don't therefore want to talk to each other and go. Society otherwise also. And just get over, you have to, for the sake of efficiency there, of course, deal with a person like that. It comes up at you, to challenge you, you better respect him as a policeman and not start saying, "Kahan ka bana hai." You just have to deal with the situation as it is. But there's a human being there. You understand later.
Good morning, sir. My name is Arun K. I know this is philosophy. I think what matters in the end, after all our hard work, and it matters that we are happy. And I just wanted your opinion on the fact that you have so much experience that what matters at the end, what are the moments that we remember, and what should we look for when we have our youth, if you can guide us on that with your experience. What really matters? What's the point of it?
I wouldn't mind caring for something that you should care for, but you should ask yourself at this stage in your life, and ask at every stage in your life, every morning like the yoga, or every week at least, definitely, care about most deeply in life. Stop and ask yourself that question. What do I care about most deeply in life? And as you ask yourself that question, it may come that maybe I care to have an iPhone and it's most deeply in life. No, doesn't it matter? To this care, iPhone is because all my peers have one, so therefore I care. Then you're realizing that I'm taking other people's caring, other people's desires as my desires. And so people can't think of another desire. But when you get that, you'll find that the mind gets pushed to thinking about something even deeper. You're getting below the fashion of what one should be looking for, aspirations that one should have, to something that is even deeper than that. And people getting into their 40s and 45s and 50s, a midlife crisis, that they got so used to just responding to what society expects them to respond to. I must have a midlife crisis and say, is this what life is all about? And that's when late in life they begin to say, I wonder what life should be about, what do I really care about? And that's when they have their psychological problems too. So ask yourself from this day onwards, every week, what's it that I care about most deeply? And listen to yourself with the answers that come to you in your own mind.
Arun, my name is Bhattacharya, I am a faculty here. Just a small question. Don't you think dialogue across differences is primarily a subtle way of influencing people and, bring about homogeneity? Like in a debate, you do it aggressively and try to subjugate somebody else to accept your thoughts. Dialogue is a subtle and a longer process by which you influence people and see to it that they believe in your concept. In the Cold War era, communists wanted to influence the capitalists. The capitalists wanted to influence the communists. The capitalists won, and you can see in China that we started moving from a pure communist country to a much more critic to a certain extent and capitalist country. Dialogue brings about some amount of homogeneity over a longer period of time.
Three things. One is intentionality. If your intention is to use a very powerful instrument to get more power in the situation, you can. Dialogue is that. Let me use the word technology. And you can use the technology for your ends. You can use nuclear technology, biological technology, genetic technology. You can use it for your ends. So your intentionality, yes, you can. Dialogue will enable you to have more influence on the situation than you could have. Yes, so we should. Urging us that use dialogue for the sake of understanding and improving myself. Because if your intention is to use dialogue on something else, people will catch you out. This. And then you lost it. So you got to purify yourself to say, I'm just doing it for being better myself. And who am I to determine what should be the best order of the world by myself? And therefore, to use dialogue as to make my point of view across. I'm a diminished person, actually. I realize that that's what I'm doing to do that. And you do get caught out when you do that. And then you're really aged. So keep on to it. I'm doing it. Doing it. She doing it. He doing it. Doing it. Honestly, for themselves. But with this in mind, that everybody has a right to be, let's say, whoever is here is right. And if that person is there and they're right, I'm not more right. Let me understand, they're right.
Thank you for your. We have. We have another token of our appreciation for you. So, with this, we conclude the first session of the ILC 2016. And I request industry leaders and fellow dignitaries to please move to the lobby for tea and snacks.
What time the next session? You have to announce that.
11 a.m. is the next session.
11 a.m.
Yes.
Okay, so I think just to conclude what Karan was saying, we are having a short break for all our guests who are from outside, including our students. There is some tea and biscuits in the lobby. You can have the beverage. Our students will move to their usual cafeteria downstairs. If some of these students want to go and hang around with our students, you are also welcome to do that. You can take some of these youngsters with you, and you can do that. Welcome to that, and we reassemble at 11 o'clock. So 11 o'clock sharp, we will begin the next session.